Please welcome Adrian Cheok.
Thank you so much. So professors normally speak for 50 minutes, so it's going to be very tough for me. So I'm going to rush through. So I'm going to talk about, in terms of how we can network things, is one of the main, I think, important aspects is how it can bring new kinds of communication and entertainment to our lives. So I'm looking at the area of research with my students in Singapore on physical and social media. So in this case here, it's based on the psychological theory by a famous psychologist, Bowlby, who said that we require physical touch and sense of presence to enjoy life. So if we want to make new kinds of entertainment, then it's very important to have the physical aspects. So one of the most important things that I've been looking at is how can we merge the real world, the physical world, together with the virtual world to make new kind of communications of verbal and non-verbal communication entertainment. So I'll talk about this aspect of physical plus social communication and entertainment now. It's a very short time, so I'm going to just kind of rush through. But basically, with the new media, we can make new kinds of experience which can merge physical as well as mental. Sorry, I just wanted to confirm you have 20 minutes. Thank you. Okay. And then we also can make the media which can merge both active experience as well as passive experience. And then with this model, just going back here, this model, we can make a new kind of digital plus physical experience of physical plus mental, active and passive. So with this, we can make new kinds of communication and entertainment. So one of the ways that we've been looking at how you can merge these two worlds, physical and virtual world, is by using mixed reality, which is defined as the seamless transition from the real world to the virtual world. So, for example, augmented reality is where you can put the virtual world into the physical world, and augmented virtuality is where you can put the digital real world into the digital world in real time. You can see some examples there. So I'll talk about some of the works that we've been doing in this area. So this system called 3D Live was actually developed to do 3D real-time capture of people or any object. So you can capture in real time and then see 3D telepresence through the internet. So this is a kind of a test video we did a few years ago. This is not pre-rendered or animated. This is real-time 3D capture of a remote person. Then you can stream your 3D signal through the internet and see your collaborator in real time through the internet. So you have this kind of application, then what you can do is new kinds of entertainment and storytelling. So this is the work that we did in Ars Electronica a few years ago. And you can see here the person is being captured by the 3D camera, and then in the bottom side you can see that that person can be then viewed in a 3D world in real time. So you can make new kinds of stories and games, not just with virtual characters, but also your real friends in the real world. Okay, so that's another. The opposite thing we can do, as I mentioned, is augmented reality. We can take the virtual world and put it into the physical world. And as you know, traditional play was all about physical and human communication. So we can try to bring the computer game world into the physical world. This is one example of the system that I did a few years ago called Human Pac-Man, where we take the game of Pac-Man and put it into the real world. This was done a few years ago now. So, but you can see the basic idea is that people will play in the real world, running around. Some people are ghosts, some people are Pac-Man, and they chase each other. The Pac-Man tries to eat the cookies, and the ghosts try to catch them. So you can see a little bit of a test video here. The equipment is very huge, but this is research and it was a few years ago. But you can see with this equipment here, you can actually merge the real world gameplay, as you can see with the wearable computer, and Pac-Man can see the cookies and walk down the street and collect the cookies as if he or she is a human Pac-Man. But not only that, just like in the game, you have ghosts chasing you, so your friends can be ghosts who are chasing you in the city streets. And they can also catch you, just like the traditional game of catch that children play. And so you can see you can turn the city streets into game environments. And I don't have really time to talk about it, but now we're working on these kind of systems, not just for young people, but also elderly people. So elderly people could play these kind of physical mixed reality games together with children, because also elderly people should enjoy physical and mental entertainment. It's very important for their health. So we're making new systems which you can see more details asking me later or on the internet. So now I'll talk about how this aspect can be used for new kinds of communication as well. So we're seeing a paradigm shift from the technical viewpoint. So I'm actually by background an electrical engineer. So by technical viewpoint, we've basically solved all the problems of communication. We can transmit almost any signal with no loss, almost no loss. So now the paradigm shift is how can we transmit not just sharing information, but sharing experience. So for example, if you're here in Jeju Island, you're having some very nice Korean food, how could you transmit the smell and taste or feeling of that to people, not just to write on Twitter, I'm eating, noodles or something. So this is the next paradigm shift for communication. And also, with this way, as you know, in the modern society, we're becoming more and more networked. But also, we're also becoming further and further apart. So due to the busy urban lifestyle, 24/7 work, now families physically do not see each other very much. So we can try to use new media to, again, make new kinds of family network and family homes. So I want to show you a work here, which example of how we can network families. So in homes, pets are very important for families. So this system here was called Poultry Internet, and it's a way for keeping in touch with your pet, even if you're not in the home. So the idea is that the human and pet can be at different locations. So for example, the human can be at work or on a business trip and feeling very lonely, missing the pet, and then can hug your pet through the internet. This is kind of a severe problem because you cannot telephone call to your pet or send an email to your pet because they can't understand. But hugging your pet is something they can understand. So, of course, human-pet interaction is very important because in society, pets provide social support and make people feel accepted. And also, it's been used even for therapy. And also, it's very important for children's development. And thus, they are very important for family. So pets are very important, but why should we make such kind of media for remote petting through the internet? Well, as I mentioned, now people are very busy, and so this is one of the prime motivations, that even when you're away from the home, you can hug to your pet. But it could have other applications. For example, children who are allergic to pets can hug their pet, or maybe you could pet very dangerous creatures. Why did I choose chickens? Because in Southeast Asia, in Singapore and other places in Southeast Asia, chickens are traditional family pets in the village, and then in modern society, of course, they're treated very badly. So another thing, scientifically, I did some research on journals such as, believe it or not, there's some journals called Poultry Research, and it's found that poultry have a very strong affinity to touch, and even a lot of chicken egg farms have artificial hands for touching chickens. So it's a very good subject for testing. So we need sound for this video. Okay.
Sorry about that, we have some sound issues. If the sound doesn't start, can you comment on it?
Okay, I'll just speak through. Okay.
You want me to make the chicken noise?
Yeah, you can do the chicken. Okay, so I can be the chicken as well. So, now it's not even starting the video. Okay, you want to go back. Okay, so this system is the Poultry Internet system.
Interactive system specially designed.
Okay, so you can see. Even we live in digital age, simple technology sometimes can't work. Okay, so in the system here we have the office system, person in the office, and the chicken is in the home in the backyard. So when you touch a physical doll at your workplace, then the chicken will feel the hugging on its body. So the system basically has a physical doll with sensors to measure your touch and then transmit this wirelessly through the internet. and the chicken wears a pet jacket, and it can feel the equivalent touch on its body. So you can see a test here where you touch the doll, and it transmits wirelessly the touch onto the jacket. Of course, this can happen anywhere in the world. This is just a test showing test. Also, we track the chicken so that you can actually see the doll move, so you can know how was your pet responding when you touch it. And here's some demo where you can see as the pet's being touched, then it will respond according to the touch on its body. Now we have to be very careful to make sure these systems are actually useful, especially for the pet, not just for the human. So there's a scientific test which is based on the method of Duncan, which is a scientist of small animals and fowl, and you do basically what's called a red door, blue door test, and you provide the same food and water in both rooms. And the one room has the jacket and the other room doesn't. And so we did this test trial over a month with multiple animals, and it was found that the figure was about 80% preference for the room which had the jacket. So that means that the pet actually has a positive preference for using the system. Okay, so there's been some spin-off works that I've been doing based on that work. One is called Metazoludens, which is not just hugging your pet through the internet, but if you can play a computer game with your pet through the internet. So I don't have time to show the video, but you can see it on the website. And basically the system here is designed for a small pet, like a hamster. And in the physical world, there is a real hamster chasing a bait. Actually, it's a robotic arm with a small tunnel, because hamsters like to go inside tunnels. And this corresponds in the physical world, virtual world, to a giant hamster chasing the human, which is you. So you're playing a kind of cat and mouse game with your pet, except now you are the mouse. And so the hamster's chasing you. And I think this kind of system is also very important because we can have new kinds of relation between human and animal, which is not possible in the physical world. So in the physical world, small hamster cannot chase the human, but in the virtual world, he can be chasing you and eating you. And similarly for putting these kind of devices even onto human body. So for example, now we've been developing a system called Huggy Pajama, where parents, for example, the mother is working very long hours in the office, can hug her child through the internet. So we've been making new versions of this, and it allows you to touch a doll, and your child will feel the hugging on their body remotely, and vice versa as well. Now, also by embedding internet into everyday objects, we can make new kinds of communication. So for example, now clothes, by the way, sound coming, sound, next video. So we can make new kinds of clothes which not only to cover your body or to be fashion, but also could communicate in real time. So actually already now clothes are a kind of communication. What you wear is a kind of self-expression. But imagine if you could change that expression according to your feeling or mood or message, or even your friend or family or loved ones can also change your clothes, send message to your clothes. You probably might have seen some work by Philips company in Netherlands, where they've actually done color changing clothes, but this uses LEDs. And the problem is that I feel this is not very comfortable for people, unless maybe teenagers going to disco or something. But for a normal situation, people don't want to emit light. So this system here is a new kind of fabric which doesn't emit light. It's a non-emissive color-changing material, which is called Ambicraft.
Ambicraft is a novel non-emissive wearable display using novel Peltier semiconductor embedded soft fabric. Compared to previous technology, it is robust and the multicolor display control is fast and accurate. Previous works in display can be divided into emissive and non-emissive categories. Emissive displays using EL and LED are more common. However, emissive displays have limited application for fashion and accessories as they attract too much attention. On the other hand, current non-emissive displays have a range of problems. Embicraft combines thermochromic ink with embedded Peltier semiconductor modules in the cloth for accurate and fast heating-cooling control system. Our temperature control system enables us to heat and cool the fabric quickly and accurately with a wide temperature range. The different thermochromic colors have activation temperatures customized to suit the human body. They are applied to conventional fabric using screen printing technique. A single module exhibits different colors at different temperature with our control system. In this real-time color change, 3 basic colors are shown. Embicraft is able to display interesting real-time animation patterns in non-emissive manner. Embicraft allows clothes to be interactive and people to communicate emotions indirectly. In this scenario, a couple is shown using Embicraft to communicate emotions remotely. Embicraft can also sense each other's presence and to be interactive in the presence of the other person. Embicraft uses novel Peltier semiconductor embedded into soft fabric to have a robust and multicolor display control. It is non-emissive, fast, and accurate. In the
internet and make new kinds of communication. So this is some early work that I've been doing with my students on living media. And the whole motivation of this work is that psychologists have found that living things evoke emotions. We naturally feel much more response to living. So, for example, if it's your birthday and someone gives you some real flowers, you'd feel much happier than if they give you plastic flower, even though the plastic flower might be identical and that will last 100 years, not just 1 week. Okay, so the motivation is derived from the promotion of human empathy. So if we naturally feel empathy to living creatures, then if the living creature itself is a kind of media, kind of communication, we can be motivated to feel more empathy to certain kinds of data. For example, environment or society, health, etc. In the first work that I did in this area was actually working with a couple of students from the biology department to make a display which was made of E. coli bacteria inserted with glowing gene of jellyfish. And this display actually was living, but the glow changed according to environmental data. And in the latest system, I've been thinking, how can we move to things like plants? For example, you can have garden and flowers, which are not only beautiful to look at, but also could give information about the environment. We just saw a speech about how Jeju is looking to be a green island and green city, but imagine that some of the gardens could represent about energy consumption in the island. Basically, the first system actually is very simple plant. It's cabbage. So the system is called Babbage cabbage, and basically this cabbage changes color according to different data. So it can change color from pink to green to blue according to data, and it basically works on altering the pH level of the plant. And in the future, we could imagine new kinds of biological media having symbiotic relationship with humans. So for example, plants which move and plants themselves as sensors. So plants sense the environment and then send data to the internet. For example, you have a whole forest, the plants themselves could detect maybe rise in certain chemicals. And then for example, some creatures have an ability to change color. So maybe fish and squid, octopus. So we could have some new kind of communication with such creatures if they can become a media. Of course, we have to think of the ethical issues. So this is one thing which is very important for such work. Okay, thank you very much.